Governor Newsom, good to see you. Not great to see you under these circumstances. As you stand here, look around, what goes through your mind?
Well, I just complete and utter devastation. Memories, mementos, traditions, lifestyle, all of it gone. I mean, it's overwhelming. And respectfully, from someone that's been to a lot of these, I mean, Tubbs Fire, I thought I'd never seen anything like that. 5,600 structures destroyed, and then of course Camp, 18,000, 85 lives lost. But the scale of this, the scope, and the fact that we have 5 active fires we're battling now is just extraordinary.
Rebuilding, not going to be easy. We know building housing in California is not always easy. Yep. Is there red tape that you can cut through to make rebuilding here move faster? If so, what specifically is that going to look like?
We're looking at a series of executive orders. We're looking at a series of legislative pathways to absolutely focus and streamline all of that and really target. I want to do it statewide, of course. I've been working on this for years, 42 secret reforms. We've got to do more. But right now, it's focusing on the rebuild and recovery. Of course, a big part of that is prepping the site, getting all the debris removal done, dealing with the hazardous waste, getting that done as quickly as possible, getting those contracts in order. At the same time, simultaneous getting the individual assistance, the small business loans and the like moving. At the same time we're doing that, we're already working now on executive orders and working with the legislative leadership. I was just talking about legislative leaders on how we move to streamline that entire process. By the way, that includes some of the Coastal Commission work, particularly out here on the coast where it's obvious that's going to be a huge issue too.
I mean, so what specifically does that look like?
We're working through old strategies that we did up in Paradise. These are more contemporary strategies of focusing on one-stop shopping, making sure that we have an expedited approval process to make sure that we're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
And in terms of insurance, are you think that what the state has right now is adequate to deal with this situation? And if not, what specifically needs to change when it comes to insurance?
Well, we haven't even had a chance to get in and do the assessment, so we have to do the assessment. So that's number one, and then we'll be able to answer that question. But the scale and scope and the value of these homes is off the charts. So it's profound. The FAIR Plan has a reinsurance component. The FAIR Plan has a component of a requirement as it relates to how it's pooled that shares with other people that are in the market, that they have a responsibility as it relates to anything that goes above and beyond the reinsurance. So we obviously are stress testing that, and not just the insurance commissioner. We had a team 2 days ago already working on this, but we have to assess the actual value. There's been wild estimates up to $57 billion, but on the basis of what? That's the basis of some aerial assessments, not a real detailed understanding of what's happened on the ground.
I mean, do you have a sort of an idea of what this is all going to cost?
Everybody has got no one does. I mean, it's literally, when you see a number like that, it's wild speculation. It's astronomical. It's unprecedented. That's not a numeric, but there can't be a numeric until you get the teams on the ground. Right now, we're still fighting, again, 5 active fires.
You put out a letter to DWP asking, how is it that there was no water to fight this fire in certain places? We were here, and basically these places just burned and there was nothing that could be done. Yeah. Does the state have any responsibility in that? Is there more the state can do to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what the letter's about. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's be transparent. Let's move this forward quickly. DWP and the city and the oversight as it relates to the Met, and we want to make sure that all that information is made real time and in public. I'm not interested in the finger point. I want to know what the hell happened, and would it have mattered? I mean, let's be honest about it here. I've talked to all my experts, all the firefighters I've been with. They said we could add an engine on every house in 90-mile-an-hour winds with all the pressure in the world. So you got to be realistic about that as well, but still doesn't make it right. And I want to know when went wrong so it doesn't happen again.
But when you saw those images, I mean, that outraged so many folks.
I didn't see the images. I was there. Right. I was right on the line. I was here within a couple hours of the incident. So we saw it firsthand. We were getting the feedback in real time. Yeah, I mean, look, these systems obviously were not designed for a catastrophic event of this scale and magnitude. So the question is, they need to be designed in this new world reality, where we're in the middle of January, it's 70 degrees out. You get hurricane force winds up to 100 miles an hour, extended over a period of time. That's reality. So you got to prepare for that new reality. There's a deviation of normalcy now as it relates to what's happened with this climate, and we've got to own up to that.
I was the pool reporter with you back in 2018 after the Woolsey fire when you came and visited with President Trump and then Governor Brown. I know you just put out a letter asking President-elect Trump to come here. What's your main message to him?
I'd like the President of the United States, at least the President-elect, to come and visit. The people out here, his lives have been completely torn apart. I want him to visit and understand the magnitude of this scope, what happened to the American people that happen to reside here in California. And it's with an open hand, not a closed fist. And I'm not interested in politicizing an event like this. I don't like the banality of it. I don't like the inhumanity of that. I would like people to focus on a collaboration between the executive in Washington, D.C. and in the state of California to help rebuild a community that's been completely ravaged.
We know we've seen some public back and forth, but have you two talked about this?
No.
And have you reached out to him?
I just reached out today, specifically. Correct.
And he's not returning your call?
I just reached out to the President of the United States. We invited him to come here. I worked very well, as you know. You made that point as it relates to the Woolsey fire and the Camp Fire when we first met, ironically. We worked very well during COVID. And so that's my intention, has been from day one. We've said 100 times, open hand, not a closed fist. We're also not naive, and I think we have all the evidence in the world that bears fruit to the notion that we're not naive to prepare for a different reality, a radically different reality compared to what we just experienced in the last few days. You had a major disaster declaration that was done within 36 hours of this fire, which is extraordinary and unprecedented. You had 100% commitment on reimbursement for folks. You got a president that's just today is trying to figure out loose ends as it relates to significant work we do on infrastructure and parks and playgrounds and schools, and that will be an announcement we hope we can make in a matter of hours. I'm not interested in the theater of political consternation. That's what he's interested in. And I think it's pretty shameful, personally, but it shouldn't extend beyond this. I want to turn the page. I think everyone does.
And just to be clear, when you're talking about a president, now you're talking about President Biden, because we're going back and forth between the two presidents.
I'm talking about the current president of the United States that's done everything right without asking for anything in return, without leverage anything, with decency and respect to the people here in this community and to the American people, and I think in the spirit of this country.
And just lastly on that, I know President Biden is trying to set this up where we get funding for the next 6 months. Are you concerned that President-elect Trump may try to stop that?
Well, you should be. We all should be. It passed its prologue. So let's do everything in our power to avoid that. I mean, it's the idea that you had to ask that question, and I'm giving you a straight answer, and the answer is we should be concerned. It's obvious to anyone. So that's why we want to come out here. Do the right thing. I just want to move on. This is an emergency. We can do all this dance, and we have differences of opinion as it relates to all kinds of issues and values, and and that's fair game, and that's important. That dialectic's important. But having this kind of friction when it comes to emergency response, with emergency responders, these heroes, 12,000 that are on the front lines right now, taking care of people, making sure people are still alive. We're still doing emergency maintenance and evacuation. We're still concerned about flare-ups and spotting. You got kids right now that don't have money for baby formula, and we're trying to get them disaster assistance. You have folks in hotel rooms that have money only for tonight and don't know what's going to happen, haven't even had a chance to see their homes here it's standing or it's here and it's not standing. We want to get them emergency assistance over the course of the next 18 months. That's why I was with the FEMA director today. And that's what the President of the United States and I are talking about. And I'd like to have that conversation with the next President of the United States in a couple weeks and not have this back and forth that's rather childish from my perspective.
Any bottom line message to the people of California tonight?
Well, we care deeply about them. We have their back, and we're going to continue to come back until this is completely rebuilt. And I know it's rote and cliched, and even saying it's rote and cliched, but we will be built back better and stronger. And I'll give you testament to that. I mean, up in Paradise right now, you have insurers coming back into the market. The kids are back in school. It hasn't been completely rebuilt, but you wouldn't even recognize the progress that's been made. The houses are stronger, they're more resilient, there were lessons learned, they've been rebuilt differently. We were able to fast track a lot of that development, address the anxiety around property taxes, anxieties that people had in the short run about even paying their income taxes, backfilling the property tax loss to the school district. All those things we're working on right now with the legislature through executive orders. We know how to do this, and so it's about accountability, transparency. That's what the letter is as it relates to DWP, what happened with the local water and the pumps. Just set it straight. Just let us know what happened. Is it just overwhelming the system? A lot of people think it's just that. Was it the pumps? Was it the pipes? Was it some other, something else that happened? And let's get to the bottom of that. Let's turn the page as it relates to the new incoming president. We'd like him to have the spirit of the current president and have the backs of people so we can recover and this wonderfully iconic American city could come back as a tentpole of this state and the tentpole of this country.
Governor Newsom, thank you so much for the time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.